So, the year was 2017. Me and my friend just stepped out of the IMAX cinema in Waterloo because we were so dizzy with excitement, having watched Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman gets her own solo superhero movie in that year. And we proceeded to sit outside the cafe of the IMAX cinema because we loved that place and made a 30-minute video. It was so excruciatingly awful, and it was just us waxing lyrical about what we thought of the film. It was, God, it's a car crash. It really is. I hope that video never sees the light of day because it's just, yeah. So here I am talking to you about Wonder Woman in 2021 because in a few days' time, that movie is going to be released. And I know there are a few reviews online already, but I'm steering clear of those spoiler reviews. Some of them are spoiler filled and I don't want to know about a film I've not yet seen and then have everything drop like a bomb for me. So I'll wait until Thursday when everybody in the world's probably seen it, and I guarantee there'll probably be a bit of a meltdown on YouTube with everybody uploading their review for Justice League. So that's going to be, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Got to get that straight. You know, we don't want to get mixed up with the horror fest of 2017 with that particular movie. But back to Wonder Woman, because there's a few things I want to talk about this film. Yeah, one of the mind-blowing things, everybody thinks this is the first female superhero movie, and it's not. It is the first successful female superhero movie. It should be a milestone, but it's not. So there is a fantastic article from The Hollywood Reporter, which I'll link at the end of this video, which highlighted the leaked email in 2015, where the then chairman, Ike Perlmutter, was highlighting the fact that Marvel cannot have its own female superhero movie due to the failures of Supergirl, Catwoman, Elektra. That was a bit of a garbage fest. And yeah, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. If you want to go back that far, that's how far you would take it. Now, when I think about Iron Man 2, there are just two prominent characters who stand out for me. One is Justin Hammer, as played by the great Sam Rockwell, and then you have Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. And I always thought for the longest time, why didn't she get her own solo movie? It seems a lot of fans were thinking the same thing too, but Marvel just did not have faith in that character to carry a solo film. Awful misconception there. And of course, DC saw this and they exploited it. Why? Because if you saw Batman vs Superman, whatever you might think of that film, you got to say Gal Gadot made the most impressive and most badass entrance into that film and kind of saved it really in some ways. Well, for me, BVS, I think its human elements, its human drama really outshone the superheroics that we saw. Really, I actually think the more humanistic elements of that film makes it kind of riveting to watch from time to time. Now, getting back to Wonder Woman, because that's what you're actually here for, just to hear my finalized review about this film. It's a perfect example of how you make a tight-paced story, how everything just flows from one scene to another. Nothing feels left out. Is it the perfect film? Definitely not. There are quite a few inconsistencies here and there where characterization is concerned. But about the main character herself, Diana Prince, as played by Gal Gadot, the look of her is fantastic. And the origin story, yeah, I mean, this is the funny thing about Wonder Woman, right? She was made out of clay and then brought to life by Zeus. I think those guys in Weird Science were on the right idea back then.
By the way, why are we wearing bras on our heads?
Ceremonial.
And yeah, of course, there were inevitable comparisons to Captain America, the First Avenger, but you know, there's a lot of things that separate that film from this. And I've got to say that with Patty Jenkins behind the director's chair, I mean, look, admittedly, she had male assistants from Jeff Johns and Zack Snyder, who was producing. Snyder's DNA is definitely all over this film where some of the slow motion stuff is concerned. I've got to say this is more demonstrative when we see the Amazonian women in Themyscira, especially when the Germans invade the island and you've got all these sometimes cheesy shots of the women being very overconfident in their battle poses. Yeah, it looks all great and everything, but can we just cut to the action and get on with it? And I think The one thing about the first 15 minutes of Wonder Woman, yeah, we've got to establish who Diana is and everything else, but really, I just wanted them to get off the island and move to like the other side of the world. And I guess Diana Prince herself couldn't wait to get off the island because she wants to go out to save the world, which I think is a noble, if a bit of a naive transition for that character. But that's kind of the whole point of this origin movie, is to show that Diana, the funny thing with Diana, she's such a sweet girl growing up, but then she wants to become like this killing machine. So her ideology is separate from Captain America's, because he doesn't like bullies, he doesn't want to kill. But in her case, she's got this sword she thinks is the god killer, knowing that she is the god killer herself. And it's really quite funny, like when she gets to London, all she wants to do is to find out where the Germans are hiding and just kill them. Wonder Woman, coming from the world of gods, believes that Ares, the god of war, is the reason why World War I is happening right now. And there's a very interesting conflict between her and Steve later on in the movie, played by Chris Pine, where he says, well, maybe it's not Ares, maybe it's just humans destroying themselves. I think that was a really prophetic thing to put into a superhero movie. You don't really get that often, and when you got two engaging leads who make that dialogue so believable, you really have to invest your time in them. And I've got to say, the whole aesthetic of Wonder Woman it's great. I love it. She's got a colourful costume, but then by the same token, it is so dulled down. It's very consistent with what Zack Snyder had in mind for his DC universe. You got all the palettes are dirty and grimy, and it's great. When you watch Wonder Woman 84, you're thinking, what the hell have they done? I know it's set in the 80s, and the 80s was very gregarious and very over the top and very in your face. But I've got to say, Danny Houston as Ludendorff, interesting villain. The funny thing with him is his character takes these medical inhalers that makes him super strong, but we only ever see him do it once in the movie, where it actually gives him the physical prowess to take on Wonder Woman. But the other couple of occasions that he does it, like, why does he do it? That's just really strange. And then you've got his sidekick, who I guess she kind of reminds me of Xenia Onatopp from GoldenEye. She's kind of this Phantom of the Opera knockoff. Like half of her face is scarred because of her experimentation with deadly toxins. She gets a real kick, maybe an orgasm, out of watching other people die from her poisons. And of course, if you remember Xenia from GoldenEye, yeah, Chris Pine is fantastic as Steve Trevor. He really is. He's to me, he's almost the heart and soul of the film.
It has to be me. It has to be me. I could save today. You could save the world.
There is so much action in this movie. It's like, wow, they really take it to a level 10 almost. The No Man's Land scene, it is still fantastic. It still boggles me that Warner Brothers wanted that scene to be taken out of the movie. It's one of the most pivotal scenes in the whole of the story, but yeah, Warner Brothers were like, no, you can't film that. We just, they had no idea. Don't forget, WB was under different management then, so they had no clue. All they're thinking about is the money. Now, the funny thing with that scene, I think one thing that kind of spoils it is that when Diana sees the hail of bullets coming towards her and she's smiling as they bounce off her bracelet, I thought, did we need that moment? Because just after that, when she's running into battle, that is more brutal for a 12 rating film. It is so brutal in terms of the barrage of bullets she's getting, and no one's backing her up at that moment. I thought that was really, it was fantastic. The whole film is kind of doom and gloom anyway, and David Thewlis as Ares, that's not a spoiler, because if you've seen the film, you kind of know who I'm talking about. Now, personally, I didn't have a problem with the third act, and the fact that you got two super gods going at it, that kind of makes sense. They were making fun about his CGI'd helmet, and they can see the moustache underneath. It didn't matter. It really doesn't matter when you got really great CGI action going on in that scene, and so many things literally are being thrown at both protagonists or protagonist slash antagonist in one of their cases. It's just a sight to behold, and I thought it was very well done. Diana lifting up a tank and just throwing it aside because she wouldn't kill Dr. Poison was a really nice touch. And yes, I guess as a female superhero, it's probably acceptable for her to think that love will save the day, because if a male superhero said that, it wouldn't really come off in the same way. Like Captain America has a real strict moral code, but love isn't the essence of it. It's more about moral conviction. I guess Wonder Woman does have that, but she just expresses it in a different way. I've got to give a big shout out as well to Lucy Davis, who plays Etta Candy. We don't get enough of her in this film, and I think she's a real nice touch of comic relief.
It's fashion. Keeps our tummies in.
Why must you keep them in?
Only a woman with no tummy would ask that question.
And yes, we do get the inevitable nod to Richard Donner's Superman from 1978 from Patty Jenkins, but I think the way she does it is a lot more subtle than what Bryan Singer tried to do for his ill-fated Return of Superman. But I will say Wonder Woman 2017, if you've not yet seen this film, it is currently on Amazon Prime, so if you have membership of that wonderful service, you can watch the film at no extra cost. It boggles my mind because I'm sure that would have been an HBO Max feature. Watch this film after you've watched BVS, because the provenance of that black and white photo that we see in that film, it pretty much forms one of the cohesive friendships that we get in this particular movie. And yeah, it's this nice little trilogy of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, I'll say Wonder Woman, of course, and then you've got the big behemoth, which of course is Snyder's Justice League, out this Thursday. Can I stop saying it? No, I can't. Will I ever stop saying it? Not until the film's released. But yeah, that's just my little take and my little review, which I've wanted to do for ages for Wonder Woman 2017. It's a great film. It still tugs at the heartstrings every now and then. It's got a fantastic superheroic ending, which we all needed. And Gal Gadot, for the limited acting ability that she has, she really brought a nice dimension to Diana. I really liked what she did here. And her chemistry with Chris Pine is fantastic, as well as the other characters, including Spud from Trainspotting. So my hot dog rating, nearly said banana once again, for Wonder Woman will be a 4 out of 5 hot dogs. It would have been a 5 out of 5, but there are some cheesy bits in this film that they should have just taken out in a heartbeat, and it would have been perfect. But thank you very much for watching this review today. I hope you enjoyed my review for Batman vs Superman before this one, and until next time, see you on that upload. You know you wanna.